Okay, so maybe the most important step is actually washing the sink out from all that dirt and grime so that your wife doesn't kill you. Hey, just real quick, I wanted to come out here to the garden, and I think I'm going to collect a little of this kale. And basically, you know, you can just start at the bottom, rip you a little bit off here and there. Take a little bit off each plant, do what we call the cut and come again method, and see if we can't get a little mess of it going. This is all I'm doing, just ripping off a little bit here and there, and I'll show you what we end up with. And there you go, man. That's a nice little stack of kale there. Now it's gonna cook down to very little, but it's just me and the wife eating it, so not a bad haul. And all I did was just pick some of the bottom leaves off. I'll show you what's left. So it just looks like they got a little bit of a haircut. There's still plenty of kale out here. I've read that you can take about 50 to 75% off and it'll be fine. I'm just gonna take off what I need, but and just while I'm out here, check out my cabbage. Starting to curl up, looking good. I'm gonna have to go in. It's starting to rain again. The temperature's dropping, so we can say goodbye to a lot of the plants, like maybe the tomatoes and the watermelons. It's gonna get down in the upper 30s and lower 40s next week, so I don't expect any of this stuff will be here. So that's all right. Just the end of the year. We'll start again next year. Hey, while I'm out here too, I'm gonna go ahead and collect some eggs. Pretty, huh? Now, I realize that everybody is not made of money, you know, and everybody can't have the nice stuff. Like this Solo cup that I use as a sink stopper. I know it's pricey, but sometimes you gotta have the good stuff. Next thing we're gonna do is wash the kale. And I wish there was a trick to it, you know. I'd tell you. The only trick is just get in there and do it. Use your hands and get any kind of dirt or critters out. That's the only trick. I suppose if there is a trick, you know, it's running the sink full and then it's taking it under there and really, you know, agitating it good. Getting that dirt off of there. There's dirt, bug poop, all that stuff, so you don't want to eat that. I mean, I would go out to my garden sometimes and pick a piece and just eat it right there. And that's one thing. But if you're going to cut it up and cook it, you know, the last thing you want is to bite into some dirt. It's just not very appetizing. This stuff holds up to water real well. You can see the water beads off of it. It's just a tough plant. It's going to take a good frost too. And when it does frost, it supposedly makes it sweeter. I'm going to test that theory this year. Okay, so that's enough water. Maybe you can hear me now. But basically, you just run a sink full of water and you just get in there and just agitate it. Like it's in the washing machine. And I'm just washing it. I mean, I don't know what else to call this. I would say there's no easy way to do it, but this isn't hard, so. Okay, let's move on to the next step. And that's basically just, you know, shaking it off a little bit. And you just grab here and gently pull. And there's you some kale. Now you still need to cut that up, you know, just to make it smaller and more palatable. But for the most part, I mean, you can eat these stems as well. I give them to my chickens. But when you cook it down long enough, they'll be tender and easy to eat. Well, we got us a big bowl of greens here. I'm gonna leave those sitting right here and I'll come back later. I got some errands to run and I'll chop those up. Okay, so now we're gonna cook some kale greens. I'm gonna cut them right before I put them in the pot. But we're gonna prepare what we call pot liquor first. And we'll start by cutting some of that bacon that I had the other day. We cook with a lot of bacon or hog jowl or what do you call it? A ham hock. You know, for my vegetarian friends out there, you don't have to do this part. This is totally optional. We just really enjoy it. So I'm basically just cutting the bacon up in small pieces and going to render that fat. Also going to use up what's left of this onion. Okay, like I said, we just added those onions. I just wanted to give you a different angle. Some of them are still kind of stuck together, but they'll break apart as I stir it. Yeah, bacon's getting a lot more crispy now. Those onions will just continue to cook down. And like I said, we're making some pot liquor. Good stuff. One more thing I want to add real quick while the onions are cooking down is some red pepper flakes. Me and the wife both like a little bit of heat. So if you add those now, they'll kind of, I don't want to say rehydrate, maybe they'll release some oils or whatever it is. They add some flavor and a little heat to the dish, and we love it like that. Optional. Now I also want to tell you that I don't have exact measurements for this. I don't know how much kale I have, you know, that bowl, but I don't know how much that's going to be. I just used what little bit of bacon I had left over. I'm using what little bit of onion I had left over. I put a pinch or two of red pepper flakes. And now what we're going to do is add in just a little bit of water and white distilled vinegar. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water. That may be a cup or something like that. It's going to help deglaze that pot. And then I'm going to add vinegar. Now, the only thing I know about this is I'm adding less vinegar than I did water. I think that will be enough for now. A little bit of vinegar goes a long ways. Being that I'm not cooking a whole lot of greens, I'm not going to add a whole lot of vinegar. I'm going to bring this up to a boil. I'll bring you right back. Okay, well I guess while that's coming up to a boil, we can start cutting these collards. I mean the kale. Okay, so we got a good little boil going now. I can only cut so much kale before I have to move it. So I'm just going to start transferring some of this kale right on top in the pot. It will shrink right before your eyes. It does take a minute. And what I'll do in the meantime is just keep chopping. Okay, so now I got all the kale in the pot. What I'm going to do is try to mix it up a little bit so all of it gets wet with the pot liquor that we've made. And like I said, it will shrink down to next to nothing. But the beautiful thing about kale is that unlike spinach, it'll maintain a really nice texture. I love spinach. But you don't really cook spinach like this and then expect to chew. Okay, so as you can see, there's more greens than there is water, and that's good, but I'm going to add a little bit more water. Okay, not covering the greens, but I'm adding enough so that it just doesn't go dry on me. And once I add the water, I'll bring it back up to a boil, then I'm going to cover it and I'm going to turn the heat down. And this actually needs to cook for a couple of hours. Okay, so you can see I got a good boil going now, so I'm going to put a lid on it and then I'm going to turn my heat down to low, and I'm just going to let it simmer for a couple of hours. Now we'll check on it occasionally and stir it, but otherwise that's it. We'll let the steam do the work. Okay, it's been about an hour since I put these on, so we're going to have to add a little bit more water. Let's see how juicy they are though. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit more water and we'll let them cook for about another hour. And they'll be done. Alright, so it's the moment of truth. Now, just like my solo cut from earlier, we only use the good stuff around here. So, let's take this lid off. Ouch. That'll be one for the video. These things look and smell so good. And see how much is actually left in there compared to how much we had to start with. I don't have the right spoon here, but got a fork. Now the bacon, get some onion, and we're going to try them out. Yeah, that's really good. And what I love about kale and collards and the dark greens like that is that they keep their texture even when you boil them through like that, versus, like I said, spinach and stuff earlier. So these are phenomenal, and the beauty of it is I've got lots more out in the garden, so looking forward to many of these meals right here. Alright guys, well, as usual, I want to thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell because that's going to get the videos to you first. I also want to do a quick shout out to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate you. We're getting really close to 200. I'm in the 180s, the upper 180s. So we're going to do that giveaway video as soon as I hit 200. And that's today. I've got a lot of subscribers because Deep South Homestead is doing a 50,000 subscriber celebration, and this is part of their challenge to get people out there and subscribing to smaller channels like myself and many others. And I've subscribed to a lot of channels today too, so I'm definitely going to pay it forward. I appreciate each and every one of you, and as always, happy gardening, and today, happy cooking.